When I first started shadow work, I didn't actually know I was doing it, but I knew that my results became more profound over time. For example, my journaling had evolved from an outside perspective of planning, goal setting, and essentially documenting what was happening to me, to an inside perspective of exploring my subconscious life script and everything that was happening in me. Only later I realized that I have been going through 3 different stages of shadow work, and that I have been stuck in the second stage because, like most people, I fell into a trap. More on that later. In fact, there was one specific exercise that almost violently pushed me in the final stage. I'll show you the exercise in a bit, but let us first look at the 3 stages and the biggest mistake you can make with shadow work. To be conscious of being, you need to reclaim consciousness from the mind. It took me a while to understand that inner change happens in 2 steps. The first is solving your issues. Only then comes step 2, living on your own terms. The biggest mistake with inner work is trying to create a new life before addressing the causes of your desire for change. So instead of working through your inner turmoil, you look for ways to feel like you think you want to feel. A man can do what he wills, but he cannot will what he wills. Shadow work is dealing with this dark side. What you think you want is defined by all those negative emotions, beliefs, and behaviors that we suppress or deny because they are uncomfortable or unacceptable to us. Our shadow decides our wants until we take back control. This is why shadow work is so important. Setting new goals, creating a new life, and live out your true self is only possible if you start with your dark side. Let us not look back in anger, nor forward in fear, but around us in awareness. The first stage of shadow work is becoming aware. This involves acknowledging what we have disowned, suppressed, or rejected, which may have been ingrained from childhood or past experiences. Often these parts are hidden in our subconscious mind and can manifest as negative patterns and behaviors. For instance, let's consider Laura, who has a tendency to always please others and put their needs before her own. Laura may have learned this behavior as a child to gain approval and avoid conflict. Especially she wanted to please her mother, who was strict and seldomly showed affection. In her adult life, this behavior causes her to feel drained and resentful. With pleasing everybody else, she has the feeling that she is out of touch with herself. In the recognition stage, she would need to acknowledge that she has been suppressing her own needs and desires in order to please others. This may bring up feelings of discomfort and shame, especially considering what she views as the source of her pain, the upbringing by her strict mother, whom she loves. But this step is essential. In this stage, it can be helpful to journal, meditate, or talk to a therapist or trusted friend. Acceptance of what has happened is the first step to overcoming the consequences of any misfortune. The second stage is acceptance. It requires us to let go of any judgment or shame associated with our dark side and to understand that it is a natural part of who we are, without the need to change it. The goal is to own what we have previously denied and suppressed. In our example, Laura would need to let go of any judgment she has associated with her dark side. Since she feels resentful towards her mother, she will also have to let go of those thoughts. She would need to understand that her shadow is a natural part of who she is, even though it can be a source of pain, and that if she continues to suppress it, she will continue to suffer. This stage can become a trap. So far, you did not have to change anything in your life. It has been a discovery, and I found that the more I looked, the more I saw, and I became addictive to new insights about my shadow, new techniques and methods of connecting the dots. While every new perspective shed more light on my shadow, there was no real change, until I found one sentence that brutally summarized everything I had discovered so far. I will not tell you my sentence, because it is deeply personal, but once I saw the real core of my shadow, there was no other way than to finally deal with it. You can find your sentence too. I will show you how at the end of the video. Unless you learn to face your own shadows, you will continue to see them in others, because the world outside of you is only a reflection of the world inside of you. The last stage is integration. It finally requires you to make changes in your behavior and belief system to align with your newfound awareness. In our example, Laura would need to make peace with her shadow as well as her mother. Making changes could mean to openly talk to her mother and thank her for everything she gave her. Finally, burying the bad blood. It could also mean to start prioritizing her own needs and desires by setting clear boundaries with others and learning to say no when she needs to. Shadow integration is very personal and requires immense effort, but it is well worth it. Now, I am sure you want to know how to get your sentence. I have put together the very same exercise that brought my sentence to the surface. If you dare, try it out yourself.